Blog Talk Radio.
It's time for another great episode of the Stop Doing Nothing Show, the show for high achievers. Now, here's your host, Patrick Allman.
Okay, everybody, this is the show for high achievers, the Stop Doing Nothing talk show with your host, Patrick Allman. I apologize for those of you that tuned in on time and you got Okay, ladies and gentlemen, again, I apologize. We're now on the backup plan. I am, again, having trouble connecting from the computer to broadcast to Blog Talk Radio. This is the Stop Doing Nothing show, episode 10, the show for high achievers. And this is a continuation of last week's show where we talked about whether or not you were ready to be an entrepreneur or not. It takes a certain mindset and a certain thought process and also a certain amount of bravery and risk to be an entrepreneur. But last week we covered what some of those were, so if you haven't had a chance, I would encourage you to go back and listen to that show. This week, show 10, we're going to be continuing the talk about business and entrepreneurship because I know a lot of our people listening to our show are entrepreneurs, and we're going to be talking specifically about marketing and some of the ways you can market and some of the ways I want you to think about marketing when it comes to your business. This has always been an area of struggle for me because marketing requires a certain planning mindset, a certain way of seeking out and planning the future, especially when the future is unknown. That can be quite a scary process. Some marketing also requires just the ability to take a lot of people saying no to you. And we are going to talk a little bit about cold calling because a lot of marketing is still picking up the phone and seeing if people want your products, they want your services, and it's something you may feel passionate about. It's something that you may think that the world needs, but not everybody will think that same way as you do. So you have to almost have like a rhino skin, was what I call it, to expect the no's and plan for the no's. You're going to get a lot of people saying no to your product or service, but you have to realize that the way marketing works is you have to get a certain number of no's in order to get your yes. If you want 10 sales in a given day, you know what? You may have to call 20 people to get those 10 sales. But you don't get the 10 sales unless you make those 20 calls. And we're going to be talking about percentages, and your numbers may or may not work out that way. But if you're not getting a particular sale amount, if you're not making a certain kind of money, then more than likely you are not doing enough marketing or you're not doing the right kind of marketing in order to get the no's that you need to make your close rate. So let's get into the show today. Again, part of the frustration is getting new clients, and this is the same struggle I've had before. And what you have to start doing is thinking of clients not as someone that you're going to get today, but more as someone that you're going to get in the future. Very few of us have a business to where a client walks in, either online or in person, sees what they want and buys it right there with their wallet. Most of us have to deal with this concept called a funnel. We have to be constantly making people aware of our product or service, and then what we do is eventually we will, quote-unquote, close them down the way. So if you have a dry cleaning business, for example, you very rarely does someone just walk in the door, hand you their clothes, and say, clean my clothes. Very often you get someone who's shopping around, and thanks to the advent of the Internet, that's just happening more and more and more. People are shopping around looking for a certain product or business. And the higher priced your product or service is, what you're going to see is people are going to shop around more, and the funnel is a longer process. It's a longer funnel, if you will. So don't think of someone that you meet today as someone who's going to buy today. More than likely, your funnel is long. Someone you meet today may not buy for a week, 2 weeks, a month, or even 6 months. And I even had clients that come back an extended period of time. A year later, clients leads possibly I even forgotten I met, but they still had my card and it was still in the refrigerator or was still on their desk. And they wanted to do business with me. It just wasn't the right time. So always think ahead. And what you can do as you start working through your marketing is you're going to realize that there's an average lead time or an average funnel length. In your funnel, maybe a month, and maybe a week, and maybe 6 months. But you need to know what that is so you can plan backwards. And also what you can do is start figuring out how good your sales and your sales training is, and then that will tell you how many people that you can close. So what I'm referring to here is you have to know, based on the number of people that you talk to today, what percentage of those are going to close and when they're going to close. A sales funnel or a marketing funnel, if you will, has a process from initial contact to interest to actually purchasing something, and you need those percentage numbers. And one of the things I've done that I have in front of me that I can give anybody a copy of if they want it is I have a spreadsheet here in front of me that gives you an example of if you want to make a certain amount of money or if you want a certain number of customers, this spreadsheet's very simple, and it says, okay, I have to contact 5,000 people in order to get 500 leads. So what's that telling me is I have a 10% ratio from initial contact, people that have no idea who I am, to people that are interested. And then I made this funnel pretty short, and then I said, you know what, I'm only going to close about 10% of those, so that gets me down to 50. So I'll have 50 people that I can close out of the 500 people that show interest. And then from the 50, I can take the sale amount of my product, which may be $100. I do the math, and I get a number of $5,000. So what you almost have to do, that's not what you exactly have to do, is know how much income you have to bring in every single month to cover your payroll, to cover your owner's draws, to cover your expenses, and to factor in profit. $5,000 may be great for you. $1,000 may be great for you. And again, your business may need $50,000 a month to basically close that amount. So what you have to do then is, like I said, take the amount towards the end and then work backwards, and that will tell you how many people you need to be contacting, what I call cold, every single month. Now, what that means is that you have to get your sales materials in front of people. You have to pick up the phone and actually call people cold, and a certain number of people have to see your advertising. So that's one of the things that you're going to have to work on in the business. Now, I have several business marketing ideas here for you, and I want you to take some notes here to realize these are just things you need to do that you may not be doing. A lot of times, a lot of businesses that I work with, service-based businesses, think that social media is the best way to get clients, to get leads in the door, because it's very interactive, it's very free, and people are very friendly on social media. And I'm here to tell you that while social media is great, it's more of an awareness tool. You can't measure your exposure on social media. You don't know how many people are seeing your message. You may have 1,000 Twitter followers, but if you share something about your business, there is no way to know whether or not one Twitter follower saw it or 500 or 900 followers. So it's not a quantifiable marketing tool. It's great for awareness. It's great to make sure that people know you exist. So social media is perfect for that. However, I would not necessarily consider it part of your marketing funnel. Great tool, not a really good sales tool. When you are thinking about how many closes you have to make a week, you have to think about things like how many phone calls are you making. Now, you may have heard that phone calling is dead, that we have the do not call list. There's various ways that people can block you from calling them. However, picking up the phone and making phone calls is probably one of the top ways you can still close business. You don't like getting sales calls, and I don't like getting sales calls, and a lot of other people don't do it. However, it's amazing that it's very effective because you can very easily get someone's attention and then lead them to the next stage of marketing. So when you do pick up the phone, try to think in about 15 seconds, how can you tell someone about the pain that you solve as an organization? And I'm going to continue to go down here into some other marketing tips. The pain solving is one thing that you can do, and cold calling is one way to do that. I would also encourage you as another marketing tip, one thing that I learned a while back is that it's much easier and much more profitable to start finding ways where you can market to groups versus individuals. Now, what I'm talking about is look at associations, look at organizations, look at conferences. Try to find ways that you can hit a lot of people at once with your marketing message, or find ways where you can share your information, and then as a result of you sharing your information one time, several other people get to see it. One of the hardest types of sales is to basically pick up the phone, even though it's an effective one, to pick up the phone and just sell things one at a time. If you're going to sell something to an electrical contractor or a plumbing contractor, it is much more effective to contact the parent organization or some kind of parent association and see what you can do to market to them, because they, in turn, will market for you, and your marketing expense will not go up. So if I wanted to start selling a certain web design plan, for example, to plumbers, it would be very hard. It would be take a long time to pick up the phone and call every single plumber in my city and offer them my products or services, and then in turn close each one. However, if I was to contact the National Organization of Plumbing Contractors and offer some free or low-cost training to their members, that's going to get me in front of a lot more plumbers than calling up each plumber out of the yellow pages one by one. So when you think about your organization, think about ways, when you think about your sales process, think about ways where you can contact a large amount of people at once. One at a time is a good close rate, which is very hard, and you're spending a lot of time on this individual person. Go for the big Yahoo, if you will. Try to market to organizations. As I look down the list here, some other things that I think would be good marketing tips. Email is still a very effective marketing process. You hear that thanks to the advent of social media, the email is dead. Well, I can tell you that it's very far from the truth. I have thousands of people on my email list, and as a result, I have a way of reaching into their inbox and grabbing their attention to tell them about my latest video or my latest blog post or my latest service. So if you haven't done so, start to build an email list of your new potential clients as well as of your legacy clients. One of the easiest groups to sell to is a group that already knows you and a group that already gives you money and a group that already trusts you, and those are past customers. So I would be taking my contact information from every past customer and always finding a way to keep in touch with them, either via direct mail or via email. Past customers are great, and they will buy from you over and over, and they will refer you over and over. So part of your marketing plan needs to be, how do I deal with clients that have already bought my stuff? It's a different marketing plan from the people that are hearing about you for the first time. Completely different message between those two. And in addition to the email list, I want you to start looking at the referral process for your business. Another easy way to close business is to get referrals from somebody else. If I want a plumber, I'm more than likely going to contact somebody that's familiar with the home repair industry and ask them, do you have a recommended plumber? Do you have a recommended air conditioning guy? So what you should be doing is looking at ways that you can ask existing clients or existing partners for recommendations. And you want to make sure that you excel at your customer service and you keep them happy. And when you ask for recommendations, rather than have them say, yeah, I'm going to give a guy your name, ask for the contact information for the recommendation. And you get their name or their business name or their phone number or their email address. It's better to get that information when you're on the phone with them or via email rather than sit around and wait for them to give it to you. Be a little proactive in this process. Be a little aggressive in this process. Another marketing platform that you might consider, again, people say it's dead, but it's still somewhat effective, is the direct mail process. It's very easy for you to buy targeted lists of people, homeowners in a certain income range, in a certain zip code, and get a rather inexpensive postcard written up and get that out to them. So take a look at that. Can you buy this kind of information? There's a website. There's one of many websites out there called infofree.com that allows you to, for a rather inexpensive fee, to basically sign in and find ways you can target and build targeted lists of potential clients. It allows you to look at any business in the United States and filter them out by the credit report, by how much money they spent last year, by how many employees they have. And then what you can do is start whittling that down and finding a group of ideal people. And those are going to be people at the top of your funnel. Now, direct mail does get thrown away a lot, but it also gets saved and stapled to refrigerators a lot. Put on a magnet underneath the refrigerator a lot. One of the things that will help your direct mail piece is if you make it invaluable, even if you're not doing a sale. So is there some way that you can put some kind of quick reference chart, a quick reference sheet on your postcard? If you do that, people can look at that, think they need that, and not throw it away. They're going to have your name and your business logo on the refrigerator. And they're going to be the first ones you think of when it comes to drain repair or whatever your service happens to be. Also look at partnering with complementary organizations or complementary services that do similar but not the exact same work. Again, we talked about a housing contractor versus a plumber. If you're a plumber, you should be working with a variety of builders, getting referral work from them. Not just one builder, a variety of builders. If you, if you're someone who does plumbing, look at partnering up with different electrical companies. Very often, if someone's doing a lot of electrical work, they're doing remodeling work, and they're going to need plumbing work. It would be nice if your buddy, the electrician, was able to refer you every single time he was on site someplace. I need a plumber also for this project. Do you have any recommendation? And you, in turn, would do the same for him. So basically, you're doing reciprocal marketing, what you're doing. Very inexpensive, very effective way to get business. Because if your plumber buddy, if your electrical buddy, recommends you as a plumber, more than likely the homeowner or the person in charge of the project is going to pick up the phone and call you and say, hey, I heard your buddy recommend you highly. You want to come out and get me a bid on this project? Again, a very easy way to close business. Industry organizations. I talked about associations. Also look at industry organizations, maybe specific marketing organizations or specific training organizations. That's another option. Also, when you're looking at selling, your business may lend it way to this. If you have a physical product you're selling, look at offering somebody else's product in partnership with your product. So if you have some kind of online shopping cart system, it's very easy for you to add their product to your shopping cart or vice versa, and that will give you a chance to market and sell your products to whoever bought the other product, if that makes sense. And when you're looking at your sales funnel and the type of money that you're bringing in, look at the type of income that each transaction is worth. Are you a business that has a one-time transaction, or are you a business that has a recurring type transaction? And think to yourself, how can I complement my one-time or my recurring sales process? If you're a web designer, for example, and you sell websites, and the websites are $3,000, then, let me see, where was I going here? And your websites are oh, goodness gracious, I cannot believe I just lost my notes. Your websites were $3,000. So that's a one-time expense. What can you offer as far as a recurring service to extend and increase the lifetime value of a particular customer? If you do $3,000 website designs, then can you offer hosting to complement that? Or can you offer training to complement that? At Focus, for example, we have a $449 quick launch web program, and as follow-on, we do $49 hosting and marketing training. So you basically become a member of our Marketing Mojo system. So if you get a website from us, we're not just going to throw you out the door once the website's done. We're going to continue to talk to you about marketing training and what you can do to boost the visibility and boost the traffic on your website. So that's rather than just going to a regular $10 a month hosting company. Well, how you go to the website? You come to us, you pay $49 a month, and you're going to get the website, and you're going to get the hosting, and you're going to get information and advice on what to do with it. So look at how, if you have one-time services, you can add recurring, and if you have recurring, how can you add maybe a one-time service or setup program to your list? Are you doing any paid advertising for your marketing? By paid advertising, I'm talking about magazine layouts, newspaper layouts, pay-per-click ads on the Internet. Pay-per-click ads are alive and well, and they do very well in Google AdWords. One of the reasons Google is so popular is it's very easy on how to gauge intent with what people are doing. You can do Facebook paid advertising, for example, or you can do Google paid advertising. On Facebook, you can really only target demographic information. On Google, you can target intent. So you should take a look at that and see how you can basically do the paid advertising thing on the Internet. Look at magazine layouts. And if you have the budget for it, look at a long-term television program. TV is not dead. There's still plenty of good advertising you can find on TV. And if you get, a late night or an expensive spot, I've heard that it's quite an effective and quite low-cost way. Now, the challenge with things like magazines and TVs, television advertising, is that they always want you to sign a minimum contract. 2 to 3 months is not unheard of if you want to get a certain ad rate for a television spot. So just beware that your expense in the area might be very high, but again, you're getting a lot of exposure. And that's what we're trying to do when we're marketing, is getting a lot of exposure. We need a lot of exposure to get a certain percentage of leads, and then we're going to close that certain percentage of leads to get actual sales. So people that get lots of exposure close lots of sales. The math always works in the funnel. I talked to you before about social media. Please don't think of that as advertising. That's busy work, and that's more of awareness. But it's not too often where you will do something on social media that will immediately result in a sale. So I'm giving you several tips today about how to approach your marketing and how to build your funnel, how to do the math into your funnel. Take these ideas and figure out in your own business how many no's are you getting every day. How many touch points do you have with new clients? How many impressions is your business getting? If your business, needs 5,000 impressions or for you to get 50 sales every month, then what are you doing to get 5,000 impressions or 5,000 people seeing your advertising? And don't count social media. It's a very poor measure. You cannot measure how many people are seeing your stuff on social media, so don't rely on that one. Really quickly, I do have some show notes here that I want to talk to you about. Number one is we are strongly considering moving from a live format program to a recorded program. So if you are listening to this right now, I'd like your feedback on that. You can get back to me either on Twitter at Patrick Allman with 2 L's, or on the Facebook page at facebook.com/stopdoingnothing. Those are the 2 best ways to get a hold of me in social media. So I'd like your feedback on that. Let me know what you think about going from a live format to a recorded format. And also, something that I'm very excited to announce is we are starting to line up guests for the show. We've had people express interest in becoming basically a co-DJ or a guest speaker, if you will. So we started our spreadsheet, and we have at least 2 lined up, and we're working on it more for you. Now, if I go that route, I'm definitely going to go more of the recorded route versus the live route, just to basically try to make the listening experience as easy in your ears as possible, and for you to not have to see the technical difficulties that we saw today early in the show. Thank you very much for listening to the show today. My name is Patrick Allman, and I run the Stop Doing Nothing radio show, the show for high achievers. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/stopdoingnothing or at the stopdoingnothing.com website. My name is Patrick Allman. I appreciate you listening today. And go out there and be amazing, and we'll talk to you during the next show. Stay tuned and be sure you subscribe on YouTube.